Shalom, beloved family. It's your girl Sophia Spiritualite, and we're here with another lesson. This is my this is my second time recording this lesson because the first time I recorded it, I had two different pieces because someone called in the middle of my recording, and then I was uh, taping the recording, and someone called in the middle of that, and this message is extremely important. I really, really wanted it to go out yesterday, and I really, really think it should have gone out yesterday, but here we are today. And this is Lavana Moon Day, the 26th of September. And this lesson is it's a thought experiment. So for private use only, thought experiment, right? So this is utilizing the express trust of the Most High. And I have been looking at trust, thinking about trust, trying to figure out how to implement trust into my life for at least 4 years. And I came up with a lot of good solutions, but they weren't the right solution. And the Most High and the Holy Sophia and of course Yahweh Shai have given me some great overstanding. Um, I just finished listening to a Dear Base video, so they've given me some great overstanding on what this process is like, how to think about it, how to conceptualize it. So we're going to actually look at a book. This book is called Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook. And it is a guide to the administration of an express trust under the common law functioning under the general law merchant. And this is from 2006. This is a book that is applicable to current times, okay, because it's from 2006. And by the end of this lesson, in my opinion, you should understand a little more about the administration of the Most High, meaning how in the Bible it says, we will come out with great substance. How in the Bible says we were made in his image. How in the why it says certain things in the Bible about how we were formed, who formed us, that kind in our mother's womb, he already knew us, that type of thing. Because is um my assertion, my uh order that the very first trust made was between us and the Most High when He sent us down here on our mission. And as a result, that's the law that prevails. And what the Gentiles have done have is that they have taken that law and inserted them in the place of the Most High. And you will see that as we get into some of the details. Um, And we're not going to go through a lot of details. This should be a relatively short video. I just want to get the information out to you all. Like I said, I wanted to get it out yesterday, but I guess um, I needed to tie it together a little bit more, and really I didn't have it all tied together. So that's why I just said, let me re-record it. Okay, so, and we're not going to go through this whole book. And as you can see, it's 99 pages. And that's another thing. I need to listen to a Dear Bay's video first because he made a point that I just realized within my own numerology is that 99 is two-thirds of the way there because it's 999. That's the numbers of perfection, just like 666 is the numbers of destruction. So like me, I have two nines in my number, so I'm two-thirds of the way there, just by virtue of my numerology. I think my year adds up to a five. So I'm two-thirds of the way there. I'm more than you know, I'm more than 70% of the way there. You know what I mean? And everybody finds their numbers. I'm just saying this for me. This is what stood out for me is that whole 666 999 thing. So if 666 is um the numbers of evil and 999 is the numbers of complete perfection, that means if you are at if this book is 99 pages, understand what's in this book, and you'll be nine two what, 2/3 of the way there if you can understand the concepts in this book. The two nines. This is the two nines of, and the last nine is, once I find out what that is, I'll let you know. So I'm just going to read this first paragraph. This handbook is about the administration of express trust created under the original American common law and functioning under the general law merchant, i.e., the unique system of commerce in the American states, as it stands in the 21st century America. Think about this. This is the um, original American common law. Now, if you think about the fact that America is part of the original Atlantis, this is the original law that governed the way that our people did everything. So they call it original American common law, but it's really Atlantean common law. This is the law that ruled everything. Nothing was above this law, and it had been like this for ever from the creation. And the brother Karimu has some great videos. If you don't understand the difference between um, ancestry and genealogy, you should really head over to his channel and open your ears and get some information on that, because the whole thing is okay, not to go off on a tangent already, but excuse me. The whole thing is, a lot of us have been looking at our genealogy via swabs and all of this crap, but the real drops are in ancestry. And so the nefariousness of the slave trade is that they make you think you cannot find your ancestry, because wherever you look, it's going to go back to Africa. However, I know for a fact that that's not the case. Once you get back, once you get back 10 generations, like I know in my family, it's very difficult to track your people to Africa. So, like what they did when they were doing our ancestry, they managed to do it, but no one will give me the report so that I can verify it. And so I have been, because my family, like I said, I'm from Maryland, 10 sides on both, 10 generations at least on both sides. At least that's what I'm aware of, because I know one, two, three, one, wait, one, two, three, four. I know five, and I know my grandparents knew five, and my great grandparents knew five. I met my parents. I knew my great grandparents and my great great grandparents. I'm sorry. Yes, I knew my great great grandparents and my great grandparents and my grandparents. So I knew a lot of my people, because the women in my family live a long time. And so I'm aware of a lot of my ancestry. And so on my mom's side, my dad's side is a little bit different. It's from the country. They do things a little bit different. And so the point of the matter is, the fact that I know one side, once you get back 10 generations, it's kind of hard for them to say you came over from Africa, because I would like to also point out, if you do get into looking into your ancestry, not your genealogy, um if you get looking to your ancestry, just be aware that the slave ship manifests were open source in the 70s, which meant that you could go and put your family's name on a slave ship manifest. Okay, so a lot of times people don't understand that, and they're looking at it and they're saying, well, it says my family name was here. Well, those manifests were open source. They made those open source in the 70s. I found that out from my mom. My dad, they were very much involved in black stuff in the 70s in college. And so they're the ones my mom is the one who told me, oh, hey, those were open source. You just went and put your family's name on there if you thought your family came over on a ship. So, and they will tell you, Dane Calloway has some videos about that too. Agent vibes on him, but nonetheless, he does have some information on that. So if you're just looking for information about how this process came about, this is the way that it was done. So Anyway, that's a little tangent on this whole thing, but just original American common law, or just change it American for Atlantean common law, and you have a great understanding of this already. So there's a lot of details in here. I'm not going to wait, let me pause here. Declaration of the Express Trust. Let me just read this paragraph. The declaration of the trust is the trust instrument that constitutes the trust. It has been noted in trust law that no technical expressions are required to create a valid declaration, so long as the words used to make clear the settler's intent to create the trust or confer a benefit of some sort that would be carried out by means of a trust. A trust instrument does not necessarily need to be a declaration either, for a trust may be, and often is, formed out of a simple agreement or even a will. But with an express trust, the declaration has been preferred since the beginnings of the trust under the common law in England, which we don't care about the common law in England. We're talking about the common law in America. So they did that in England. We don't have to do that here in Atlantis, okay? This is where careful attention to detail is most crucial because, in order to properly construe the intent of the settler, the objects, property, and manner in which all is to be carried out in terms and provisions must be set forth in unambiguous, precise language as so as to particularly create the express trust, and where the intent of the settler is unclear, under equity, interpretation is required to construe the intent of the parties, and the trust may, depending on the degree of ambiguity, be deemed invalid. However, when it is done properly, obviously there can be no lawful impairment of the obligations of contract created thereby. So, what you got to understand in that paragraph is that it doesn't. When the Most High said, I created you, I formed you in the womb, that was a declaration of privacy. He formed us to be what? Um, uh, uh, that wasn't equally, it was, I don't have my Bible in front of me, but, it was, he formed us to be specially made for his purpose. Therefore, that is the creation of the express trust. That is the intent. And if somebody asks you, where's your documentation? You just go in the Bible. Here it is. The Most High, God created me for his express use. That's what it says in the Bible. That's why they keep changing the language of the Bible so that you won't get this. He created us, he formed us, he was with us before we were here. We had this agreement either on paper or non-verbally, but we had this agreement before I came here. This is what I'm going to do. Okay? Most High sends us here well equipped, right? A sister, I did her reading, and the first card that came up, she came here with everything, and that always stuck with me because I said, well, it couldn't have been just her that came here with everything. It had to been all of us. We all had to come here with everything that we needed. She needed to be reminded, but we also need to be reminded. We came here well equipped. The Most High did not send us here with nothing. We just don't know because the Gentiles have hidden everything. But we can unhide this right now. The creation of the trust is right there in the Bible. And if anybody is going to fight that, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing, which is why that is a. Let me just keep going on because I'm. This video is going to be too long as it is. All right, so we're gonna go down to Let me see something in trustee basics. Let's look at this first paragraph. First and foremost, any person, man, sovereign, trust, corporation, etc., capable of taking legal title to property can be a trustee. And there's no limit. There is no limit to the number of trustees who may serve on any one trust. Why is there no limit? Because there's no limit to the angels that contribute to your life. How can they put a number on the angels that are assigned to you? There is no number. You have all the angels that make up all of your cells, all of your organs, everything else. Then that's on the inside of you. Then on the outside of you, you have all your guardian angels, the angels over the degrees, the angels over the planets. There's no end to the number of angels. Therefore, there's no end to the number of trustees. Get that in your mind right now, okay? All right. And there's no limit to the number of trustees who may serve on any one trust. Pause. I already said that. Okay. Generally, where there are more than one trustee, the trustees, with respect to each other, are referred to as co-trustees, and when acting jointly as a collective body, they're referred to as the board of trustees. All of the angels who work with you, they're your board of trustees. You're the beneficiary as as the person in the physical body, but all of the angels, the board of trustees, they contribute to you. So that's why you have to master, you have to subdue the earth, because if you can't subdue the earth, you can't subdue yourself. Be fruitful, boom, multiply, boom, subdue the earth, boom. Then all of that, those commands make sense, because be fruitful is, do something with your life. Multiply, just like the parable of the talents, the minas. You want to, don't hide your talents, don't hide what the Most High gave you under a rock. And subdue the earth is subdue yourself. You are the earth. You come from the earth, from the angels of the earth. You have to subdue yourself. And when you can do all three of those things, you will have fulfilled the commandment of the Most High, that you will fulfill the requirements necessary to unlock your access to the trust. Okay? When you once you do all those things. And that's why a lot of people can't do it, because they won't be fruitful, they won't produce fruit, they won't multiply, and they won't subdue the earth. They won't subdue themselves. They've got two-thirds done. Maybe they got the fruitful part, they got the multiply part, but the subduing the earth, that's what the Gentiles government does, right? They give you the two nines. They get you all wound up in the two nines, and you forget that third nine. They get you wound up into being fruitful. You got to go to work every day, and this and that. They got you all wound up in the multiply. Everybody have kids or dogs or whatever. And so you're copying yourself. They got you all wound up in that. But when it gets to subduing the earth, nah, 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 nah. They're the government. They want to subdue you. That's where they harvest all their energy. So they let you get two nines of the way in, and then when you try and get to that third nine, oh, that's when there's a huge problem, because your energy is what they subdue. The government is God subduing the earth, and the earth is you through that third nine. If that makes any sense, but I'll just keep going on, because we're not going to talk about all of this. Um, Again, get the book, read it. So I'm going to read this about the trust, the express trust versus the corporation. And this is going to be what I spend the rest of my time on. We're going to stop with this. All right. I'm going to read this last paragraph. The declaration of trust is has been held to be an effective substitute for incorporation for its many advantages, which will undoubtedly shine through the reader by the following table. I prepared this table based on the work of Sears, who, after discussing the impact of twin landmark cases on grave lack of profitability using corporations for dealing in real estate, went to task in outlining the benefits the distinct benefits of express trust, the works of these guys, right? All right, I'm not going to read all of that. Let me just read this preliminary note. While the mortality rate of corporations and the like have historically remained high, express trust remained, and indeed to this day continue to remain vital. Okay, so again, if express trusts are so vital, why don't you know about them? Why haven't you researched them? Why didn't anybody teach you this in anywhere? Why have you never even heard the name? Before I came across this book, I never heard the name. I went searching for again, for trust, like I said, I've been researching this for a few years now. I went searching for it, and this is what I found. But the only reason I found this is because I went searching for it. So if you do not seek, you will not find. But luckily, the Most High wants people to have this information. So I'm bringing this information out to you, but you still got to get your own overstanding, for lack of a better way to say. So I'm actually, I'll do this side by side again like I did the first time. So the Express Trust has a lifespan of 20 to 25 years at a time in order to avoid a rule against perpetualities. Death of the grantor has no effect on the life and affairs of trust. You know what that makes me think of? If you sign up for the military or if you work for the government, after 20 years, you're eligible for retirement. Why? Because they have you in a trust, an express trust. So they after 20 years, you've done all the work, the being fruitful and the multiply you can do for that trust. And then they have to start you on another 20 years. So a lot of times what they do with people in the government is they tell them they need to do 30 years, right? But they're eligible for retirement after 20 years, especially in the military. You're eligible for retirement after 20 years, but if you do the full 30, then you get your full benefits. Imagine that. They got you in an express trust where you have to give away 30 of your years, and in exchange for giving up the best, not the best, but 30 of your years, they'll give you a check every month. That's it. They're not going to protect you. They're not going to make sure you have a house. They're not going to see. This is what we trade when we deal with the government. This is what you trade. You trade years for dollars. For pieces of paper. Whereas if you honor your express trust with the Most High, you're going to trade your years, and each year is going to be blessed, and each year following that is going to be blessed. It's going to be blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings when you engage your express trust with the Most High, which the only requirements He has for you is to be fruitful, multiply, and subdue the earth. Those are the commands. And of course, the Ten Commandments and other. I mean, we get into that, but these the just for understanding's sake. So, in a corporation, perpetual or certain number of years, in most cases, legislative requirements govern. Basically, what that's saying is the government decides how long your business can be in business, and then they tell you when it's time to break it up. So a lot of people are like, well, think about this with Facebook, right? Facebook was a corporation, and then basically Google did this too, but I don't know if people were really following that at that time. But Facebook recently did this. They went from Facebook to Meta. Why did they do that? Nine times out of 10, the government ordered them to do that. Hey, too many people have bad connotations about Facebook. You ain't bringing us our money like you used to. Go ahead and change your name. Let's see if we can get the people to, come back based on this. Because what you're going to find out here is a corporation is a government entity. Every corporation is a government entity. Even when the ones that you don't think about, like every single corporation is a government entity. They tax you, they this, they that, and as long as you are operating within these government entities, they can tell you what to do. Period. But when you operate as an express trust, that is not the case. Next up, governed under equity, express trust. Trust law is the most well settled body of law in America. Most well settled body of law. The most well settled body of law, however, there's no courts that handle it. That's in this book too. Okay, next. Corporation governed under statute, forever subject to burdens of inquisitional legislation. That's why your strong man, are. They always ask you. That's why they tell you you have to give this tithe to the government in the form of your taxes. What is a What is that? What is the tax forms? They ask you extremely intrusive questions. They want to know how you spent your money for the last year, and then they tell you how much you got to tithe to them because they are the God. And so um when you end your relationship with the God of this land and you go to the Most High God, you cut out all of this. This is just some stuff that's gone. You know what I mean? Because they want to know. The Most High says just what happened in the parable of the minas? What did the wealthy man want? He just said, "Bring back to me something." It doesn't matter if you turn your 1 into 10, your 1 into 5, do just do something. Bring me back something. My word will not come back void. And the only reason it does is because you trust God, the government, over the Most High God. All right. Next one, express trust. Limited liability of trustee determined by trust instrument. In any given contract, only property in the hands of a trustee is answerable and not subject to subpoena. What does that mean? Meaning the trustee is only liable for the property of the trust while it's in their hands. Once it's out of their hands, they're no longer liable for it. All they have to say is, "Hey, I put it in the hands of the beneficiary, and they you have to keep the records, but it doesn't matter if they keep the records or not, because to be honest, they can't question you because there's no court that's qualified to make these requests. All right. On a corporation, corporate officers are personally liable for all ambiguous endorsements. Remember, Enron and Global Crossing must answer in legislative court for all acts. So if you, the corporation, your straw man, your government name, you are responsible for everything done in the name of your government name. Bad news. Bad news. You don't want to be like that, because again, the government is acting as the god in this respect. Okay. In the express trust, business name is protected by injunction, may use trade name or trademark for legitimate purposes. And in a corporation, you must apply for and secure fictitious firm name and must register all trade names and trademarks. Fictitious firm name. I didn't catch that on the first time I did this video, but now that I'm thinking about it, that means all corporations are fake. The fictitious firm name, not the real firm name, or they don't have to tell you the real firm name. They just what is the real firm name? The real firm name is America Inc. because all businesses and all incorporations operate under the guise of the government, and basically they have this fictitious firm name that covers that up. But what I did catch on the first time is, if you are looking for a remedy, um your business name is protected by injunction. You can file an injunction against the America Inc. for using your name that was given to you by the Most High, your government name or whatever name. You can file an injunction against that for them using your name, and they have to stop using your name. I mean, if you're looking for a remedy, as I have previously mentioned and will continue to mention, I don't care about a remedy, because a remedy is only going to absolve me within their system. I don't care about being absolved within their system. Get me out of their system. Then you can figure out what you want to do with that. All right. An express trust is a Article 4, Section 2 citizen of the United States via its trustee, not a 14th Amendment citizen unless trust contracts under the amendment. This citizen is understood in constitutional law as the private citizen. So anybody who's been looking for the way to become a private citizen, easy, simple, quick, and fast, this is it. And express trust. Why would you don't need to do you don't have to let anybody know. Again, there's no notification required. However, I do have a declaration that I modified that you can use if you wish. You know, private use only, of course. Just hit me up, send me an email, and I'll send it to you. And you just fill it out and you go get it notarized, and that's it. It's not no huge thing. It establishes you as a citizen of the Most High, as a sovereign over the elements. Whose life was given to you by the Most High, not by the government. Okay, the corporation is a 14th Amendment citizen, regardless of citizenship of corporate officer. Generally, state corporations require officers to be citizens as well. This citizen is inherently public due to the nature of the amendment. So, a corporation is the public. That's it. There's no public besides. So, when they say, like on The Simpsons, they would always call it John Q. Public or something like that. That's That's the corporation. That's not the human individual. They just fooled you into thinking that you, the human, is the same as you, the corporation, holding you to corporate laws without telling you that you're being held to corporate laws, not human laws. That's the knowledge that we lost. Like I said in the other video, we have to qualify what knowledge was. We perish for lack of knowledge. What was the knowledge? It wasn't all knowledge because we still knew how to use the bathroom, we still knew how to eat, we still knew how to do basic things, but we lost this knowledge. This is the knowledge that we lost amongst other knowledge. All right, next. The express trust is not required to obtain a business license. So if you're a nurse, healer, doctor, architect, construction company, whatever, if you operate out of a trust, you're not required to get a business license. Not required. Not required. All right. And in a corporation, the opposite is the case. Your straw man is required to get a business license. So which would you rather operate your business out of? Out of the you, the express trust, or you, the corporation? All right, next. Trustees issue an express trust. Trustees issue certificates in the manner prescribed by the instrument. Certificate holders cannot transfer without the approval of the board of trustees. And a corporation must go to public in order to issue stock. That means that they have to go to other corporations to issue stock, right? Stockholders may dispose of shares of the stock, but corporation and stockholder alike are taxed indirectly in more ways than one can count. Exactly. And the express trust may bring and defend litigation in trust name and entity or in trustee name. Same rules as to parties and procedure at law and equity are applicable. And a corporation may bring and defend litigation in corporate name and entity only. In the express trust, trustees are afforded more leverage and powers are generally more broad than corporation, as it may provide for whatever any individual may do. The sky or nature is the limit. So the trustees don't have no limit on what they do. In a corporation, relatively broad powers, as in the example of holding companies, but a corporation may not do whatever any individual may do. The statute or legislature is the limit. So by operating out of your corporate name, your government name, you are held to the limits of the legislature. So again, this is why a lot of our people are not they're not going to want to come out of this corporate this corporation. You know, they're not going to want to come out of it because it's all they know. It is their father, it is their mother, it is their brother and sister, the corporation. But for those of us who have a relationship directly with the Most High, the Holy Mother, Yahweh, we have a mother, we have a father, we have a brother. The government is not my mother. The government is not my father. The government is not my brother. Period. Now, a lot of our brothers and sisters, they're gonna have a hard time with that. All right. Next up, trustees are afforded. Wait a minute, I did that one. Next one, all federal excise tax. Oh, wait a minute. All federal excise tax and state organization and franchise taxes are avoided in the express trust. In a corporation, the opposite is the case, except for state taxes in certain states. In either respect, all corporations are taxed indirectly via inflation. What I was asking when I did this the first time is how do we not be taxed by inflation? Because that's a whole nother thing. But as you can see, express trusts don't pay taxes. All right. In express trust, trustees are not required to file reports with any authority and are accountable only to the beneficiary, governed strictly under principles of equity. In a corporation, they're required to file reports quarterly, yearly, taxes, all of that. Okay, they're required to by law, by statute, or legislature is how he puts it. But look at this. So that's one thing that the government does not like about people who have personal relationships with God. And this is the problem. This is where the priesthood of Mahan gets themselves in trouble because if you have a personal relationship with God, they don't have to know what it is. Nobody has to inform them what your personal relationship with the Most High is, and therefore they cannot control you. So this is where the priesthood of Mahan has come in, been assigned to delegate our relationship with God, to be our God, basically in place of God. So the government is our God in everything except for spiritual manners. Then they put in the priesthood of Mahan to be our God and in religious matters. And then people who are atheists, they have no God at all. Government don't have to worry about them. It's us, the ones who believe in the Most High God and want to worship Him in spirit and truth, who are the troublemakers. Always have been, always will be. That's why indigos, rainbow children, crystal children are always going to be targets by the government, because you are not going to tell me about my relationship with the Most High. You are not going to tell me what books to read in my Bible or what books not to read. That's why they took away the King James Version, which was bad enough, and gave us that NIV version, which is like King James Version on crack. Because they don't want you to know that you are. I mean, I bet I could go back now and do some correlations. I'll leave that for another day. But next one. Not subject express trust. Not This is the last one on the page. Not subject to foreign corporation laws of any state. Not inherently subject to commercial regulation, but for income derived from corporate stock and physical franchises under Article 1, Section 8, Clauses 1 and 3. Express trust is valid in all states of the Union, and in a corporation inherently subject to all foreign corporation laws and commercial public policy regulation. So corporation, they have to follow every law. You know that? I mean, one time somebody said you break more all these laws every single day and you don't even know it, right? And the corporations, they don't care. They break all kinds of laws. It doesn't matter. But you, the human, you haven't broke no laws. The only laws are the cosmic laws that's in the Bible, or the Ten Commandments, however you want to look at it. The cosmic laws and the Ten Commandments are the laws that are the laws that you're bound to. So if you don't violate those laws in front of the face of the Most High, you haven't broken no laws. All this other stuff they talk about, irrelevant. Excuse me. This thing do not want me to get this message out. All right, next page. Top of the page. Express trust. No legal obligation to maintain the capital and refrain from paying dividends out of capital. Trust instrument governs. In corporation, the opposite is the case. And so basically what that means is you can pay out whenever you want. In the express trust, the Most High didn't have to wait until the stock matures in order to pay you out. No, the Most High can pay you out whenever He gets ready. He tells you to go do something, go take care of yourself, get your nails done, whatever the case may be. That's what He said do. He don't have to wait. He don't have to wait. He's not a man that he has to follow these men's laws. He can do whatever he wants whenever he gets ready. That's how the Most High works. How man works? No, you gotta wait until you can't sell your stock. They got all these rules about selling the stock. They ignore them anyway. Who can't buy them? Doesn't matter. They do whatever they want. They make laws. They break laws. They make laws to fix the laws that they broke. Doesn't matter. They do whatever they want anyway. Just like the Most High, except for the Most High don't have these laws in the first place. These Gentiles made these laws, laid them over top of our system, our our Atlantean common law system, laid them over top and said, "This is what y'all gonna do." All right. So, next one. I'm not gonna read the rest of these because they're kind of not related to personal use. They're kind of related to like commercial use. But let's look at the last one on this page, which is dissolution or changes may be effected without formality in a express trust. And in a corporation, the opposite is the case. So I'm going to read this last paragraph on this page, which basically means the Most High takes you whenever He gets ready, and you're gone. He don't have to ask nobody. When your trustee relationship, beneficiary slash trustee relationship is done on this planet, the Most High don't have to say nothing. He just snaps you up and that's it, you're gone. Corporations, if the corporate leader dies, they just put another one in. it's in perpetuality, you know? And basically from what this says in express trust law, every 20 years, 25 years or so, you have to re-up you have to re-up. You have to say, okay, Most High, you gonna give me another 20 years, or is this it? My time up, or whatever the case may be. You got to, reestablish this thing with the Most High every 25 years or so, according to this document. So you don't get to go on in perpetuality. So he brings you here on this planet. By the time you turn 25, which basically is like 28, because if you look at the life cycle of this is like some Waldorf school stuff, Steiner stuff, but if you look at that whole your whole evolution stage, like by the time you turn 28, 28 is when you come into your adult self, and then from 28 you got certain number of years. So I would guess it's 28, right? 2 and 8 is 10, right? So when you get to that age, you got to re-up with the Most High. Okay, Most High, I'm ready to do what you want me to do, this and that. What is the mission that you had me on? And what happened when I turned 28? The Most High gave me a a, another Munchkin head. I'm like, oh man, this what you got me doing? Okay, cool. Then 35 gave me another one. Okay, this is how you want it to be. Cool, I'm fine with that. It's all good. This what that means. I definitely got to re-up my contract because I got to raise these kids. So I know my contract is good. You know what I mean? Because you're not gonna have kids and then take me out. That makes no sense. These kids are very special. They got to have very special things. Like I got to stay here to make sure that they get them because nobody else is going to give it to them because that's people don't think the way that I do. So let me read this last paragraph. Given the private nature of the express trust, there's virtually no lawful method by which to pierce the trust without the express permission of or implied consent of the parties, or some unlawful activity on the part of the trust giving rise to a bona fide cause of action. A lawful activity would be something that broke the Ten Commandments, the law of the Most High's law, or the cosmic laws, not the statutes. Not the statutes. Statutes and the legislation is not law. Okay, the law is of Ten Commandments or cosmic law. All right. As a result, virtually no direct evidence of trust existence can be found unless it is made to be found. The Shekinah reveal it to you, right? And even then, it can only be heard by a court of competent jurisdiction, which we have no court of competent jurisdiction here. And he goes on in later on in this book to tell you that there is no court of competent jurisdiction. Why? Because our court is Saturn. The black judge is on Saturn. What are these courts going to do? We gotta go to the cosmic judge. We gotta go to the goddesses of karma and ask them to absolve our sins, right? To the stuff that we don't know, clear us, heal us, reconnect us, all of that. We can ask for forgiveness. We can ask for restoration. We go to the goddesses of karma for that. And when we need restitution, that's why I don't care about remedy, because remedy is not going to be given to me on this planet. These Gentiles can't give me no remedy because they don't have no jurisdiction over me. I got to go to the black judge and say, can this what these people are doing to me is wrong. What happened to me is wrong. Something needs to be done for this. This is why I always say fight fire with a flamethrower, because they have fire right here, right? But if you have a flamethrower, that's got to come from a distance. That doesn't come from right here. I don't stand right beside you and hit you with a flamethrower. A person in a distance got to stand and hit you with a flamethrower, right? But it's going to burn harder than the fire that you threw at me. But it's a directed attack. It's not a fire could burn everything. You know what I mean? You don't know, 'cause a fire can take out anything. They have these little mini flamethrowers that they use to edge the lawn. You know what I mean? Like, flamethrower is very direct. Take out the direct person who is doing these things to me, who is causing me this trauma, who is causing me this trouble. That's what you want. What you do not want is for anybody to come about and do whatever it is they're going to do. That's what you don't want. That's not helpful. Okay? So, let me see if there's another sentence. This is protection at its finest, hiding in plain sight to speak. And it is well understood by the powerful elite that bene vixuts que bene letuts, which is he lives well who conceals well. They put in his assets, but he lives well who conceals well. He lives well who conceals well. In many ways, the common law itself, with its precious substance, is hiding in plain sight or is well hidden, depending on the perspective. So that is and then of course they're talking about commerce, which I don't think a lot of people understand. They're talking about doing business, limiting the liability of the trustee, how to open a bank account, transferring trust assets, blah 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 blah. So, and they even have a little section on prevailing in all legal affairs. That's where they talk about the jurisdictional courts and stuff like that. So, I hope that that makes sense to everybody. Like I said, go get the book, read it. This is the blueprint for how the Most High operates. And so the greater understanding you have of his and I'm gonna look for the American trust law, and if I can find it, I'll bring another video where I just or American common law, Atlantean common law. That's they don't they just took it and changed it from Atlantean to American. So what is it? So I'm going to see if I can locate that now that I'm thinking about it so that we can discuss that in some further detail. But I just need y'all to get down in your mind, get into your soul, get into your spirit, ask your guardian angels, ask the Most High, ask the Holy Mother. Is what I'm saying the right thing for you. This may be my remedy, my solution, my final answer for me, but maybe it's not the right one for you. Maybe the Most High got something else He wants you to do. However, the urgency with which I was given this message and pushed to deliver this message, and the many, 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 many times I've tried to deliver this message and the message not going through, makes me think that this is a message for a wide variety of people, and therefore, we need to take these things seriously, work on them diligently, and know that first and foremost, your express trust was given by the Most High, and you are the beneficiary of that express trust. And the direct words are in the Bible. And if you just start with that as your starting point, everything else makes more sense, at least for our people. So, to the spirits who are here with us, you're invited to go in peace. To my beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace. And always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom.